I'm all tangled. It's October 1st. We made it into October. Who's who's excited for the fall? Is there anybody who loves the fall, loves the winter? Hold on. Loves the fall. Is anybody excited for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas? Is anybody in that spirit at all? Got my coffee. No humidity. It's like 70 degrees. It's breezy. We have I think all of the wind is closed in the house because it's so breezy and it's cool. I didn't put cinnamon in my coffee. I forgot to do that, but that's okay. We had a very late lunch. Welcome to the Anxious Woman. That's me. I'm in the state of Pennsylvania. My name is Poet. I am in my 67th rotation around the sun. I am both a widow and a bride. So let's talk about that today. There was a couple things I want to talk about, and one of them is being a widow and a bride all at the same time and how I manage or not. It's probably the or not. I need ibuprofen. Does anybody use a generic ibuprofen? I prefer the liquid gel, the Advil liquid gels, but I don't have them. I just have this. These are free from the over-the-counter program. I don't think they work as well as the green liquid gels. And I don't use acetaminophen or Tylenol, as it's called, Tylenol, or acetaminophen, the brand, the generic. I don't take that. It gives me a headache. Okay. A bride and a widow. When did I become a widow? February 27th, 2024. This month in October. And if anybody has a birthday in October, if you want to tell me in the comments when your birthday is, or someone in your family, in your immediate family, and you want me to say happy birthday, I would love to do that. I don't have one October birthday listed in my journal book, my little journal book. Not one October birthday from my YouTube family. My daughter has a birthday in October, the end of October. George's two sisters and a brother have a birthday in October. His granddaughter has a birthday in October. My dad passed away in October in 2006. Sky has a heavenly birthday, or wherever he is, in October. October 10th is Sky's birthday. My old doctor that I had for 20 some years, his birthday is tomorrow. My youngest son, Connor, his dad has a birthday this month. It's just crazy. It's just jam-packed with doctor appointments, events, things, birthdays, you name it. October is packed. But I don't have any October birthdays from my YouTube family. So I put up the video yesterday or this morning on his things. His tote is packed. So now how do you be a bride and be a widow? So I became a widow about 18 months ago. And I send off a message on Legacy on a regular basis. I mean, I'm very regular with the messages, and I must be so regular with messages that Legacy sent me an email. The funeral home sent me an email yesterday with the counseling number, saying, you can use the counseling number. You're only supposed to use it for the first 13 months after the death of a loved one, and I'm 18 months in, so I don't know that I still qualify for that program. But I also don't think that I'm in need of that. I don't think there's anything I could ask anyone or tell anyone that's going to make a difference in what I feel. So how do you, so you absolutely divide your emotions, or you weave them all together, one or the other. I mean, I don't think you can divide your emotions. I'm going to take that back. You feel them, oh God, I can feel them at the same time. Like I could be like on this little summer picnic with my husband. If you're brand new here, I was widowed last year, and then I got married this year in January. And so I could be on a little picnic and enjoying the picnic with my husband of almost 9 months now. And something will happen. I'll see a crow fly through the sky, which Sky had a pet crow. He had a pet crow that he named Raven. And so I could be having a picnic with my husband, and this crow can fly through the sky, and I immediately go to Sky and thoughts of him and his bird Raven. The thing that makes this easier, and I'm using my words gently, because there's nothing easy about either thing. There's nothing easy about being a bride when you're a widow and you're new to grief. I'm not finished my second year yet, so the thing that makes this more doable is the fact that my husband lost his brother last May. So he's in grief and mourning a little over a year. Yes, it's different in a way because it's his brother, where this was my partner, my husband at one time. But love is love, right? It's there, and the memories. And so he understands that. He also, like I have Sky's toolbox, which I didn't show yesterday, but I will show that because there's a couple things I think I can show and will show that are around the house. I was going to say apartment. We're in a townhouse that are here. So I brought Sky's toolbox. It's in the basement. George uses the tools. I gave it to him. I said, Sky would want you to use these things, like he would. One day I'll open up the tote bin and we'll go through together the things that I've kept in there. So George understands that Sky died and that I was his care partner and his partner for 14 years. And so he would never say to me, don't talk about Sky, or don't, he looks at it as though he was sent to me by Sky. And I look at it like his brother sent George to me, that his brother knew George needed someone. So it's a constant balance. There are things there are commonalities, like George wears glasses, not all the time now because he had his cataracts removed, but sometimes he wears glasses, and Sky always wore glasses, right? Almost the same type. George has a beard. Well, right now he has a goatee because I shaved most of the beard off and I gave him a goatee. But most of the time he has a beard, and Sky had a beard. The same color, the same salt and pepper. They both follow a meditation and deep thinking, and listen to the Buddhist type talks, and the Eastern way of life. And so there's a lot of commonalities there, a lot of the same. And physically they're like, George is 6 feet tall and weighs 174. Sky was like 5'7" at 140. George is muscular and large framed, and Sky was very slight, very, very slender. but the way they talk, the way they think, the science-minded way of life, neither of them believed in a God. So that's the same thing there. For me, I loved Sky. I still love him. I love George. It's love. I can't say that it's a different kind of love, or it's less love or more love. It's love. It's like having your first child and then having a second child. It's love. You know, the child might be different. In my case, the husbands are different, but there's going to be some characteristics that are the same. Like both these men love like British TV, and comedians love listening to comedians on TV, watching them. Sky had the best laugh ever, and George has got the greatest laugh ever. So for me, if I need to go into that time and space of Sky, I go up in the guest bedroom and get Sky's iPad, and I'll go on Sky's Facebook, which I can get into now. I will put a notice on about his birthday for the people that he's friends with on there. I will. I'll look at some of our pictures. Some of them I flipped over onto my phone. I respect and love and mourn Sky in a very quiet, personal way, and George is very aware that, you know, of course I miss Sky, and he was with me when I took some of the ashes down to the lake, and he's never said to me, oh, I don't want to use that toolbox, or you know, I don't want to have that Buddha that was Sky's. I don't want that in my house. Like, he would never do that. Being a new bride, a newlywed, you know, to have someone in my life at my age, and at his age, he's in his 70th year, it's very comforting, and Sky would want that for me. Sky would not want me alone. You know, he would not. He knows how I am. He knows I'm not good alone. He wouldn't want me alone. You know, Sky always looked at things as there is no one belongs to anyone. We don't own anyone. Getting married doesn't mean you own someone. It's a piece of paper that the law requires if you want to have like joint accounts and joint this and that. It's truly, in my eyes, it's truly a piece of paper. It was the same way with Sky. Sky felt the same way. Now, in saying that, a lot of my wonderful people that are with me who've been married 40, 50 years are going to say, no, marriage is much more than a piece of paper. And I totally respect you and respect your feelings and your thoughts. The really sad thing about laws and marriage and all that is if you have senior citizens that meet, someone's in their 70s and someone's in their 80s, and they meet like in a assisted living facility and they want to get married, it's almost impossible for seniors to marry because Social Security gets cut from the wife in half. There's a loss. There's a financial loss when there's a marriage. I'm on disability, so nothing's been touched for me. In a year or so, less than a year, I will be done with disability. I will have aged into retirement. But there's pluses and minuses to being a bride, being a widow. You know, you get married, you never think about that. Like, there's things that we just don't think about because, one, it's painful, and two, we know something's going to happen at some point, but we don't know what it is or when it's going to happen. So it's like life is so amazing and so fragile at the same time. And so, does it do any good to think about what we know is going to happen whenever down the road, you know? So I spend my days and my nights with my husband as a bride, as a newlywed. I don't know, what is it, after a year, you're no longer a bride or newlywed? I don't know what the time frame is. I know from what I researched, after 2 years, you're no longer considered a widow after 2 years. I don't know who came up with that, so don't come at me in the comments. There are people that have been, who lost their husband 20 years ago, and they still refer to themselves as a widow. And I totally get it, and I so respect that. I don't know who comes up with these timelines, these guidelines. Just like the second year is harder than the first. I know the first time I read that, where I read that the second year is harder being a widow than the first year, I remember thinking, oh no, there's no way it can't be. Like the first couple of months, the first 6 months is just hell. And I'm thinking there's no way the second year can be worse. But what happens is for me, what I found, my first couple of months was all about paperwork. And then in and around that, the quiet and the realization. And then as the time goes on and the paperwork's done from the death, then you do your own paperwork that you have to do as a single woman, and then you get all that done. And people stop coming around, and people stop calling, and people whatever in a situation that's normal. For me, my situations aren't normal because of my anxiety. So I found for me, all the talking that so many people I talked with, it went by the wayside, not intentionally, but I felt really uncomfortable doing voice messages with someone else in the house, because my voice messages are very private to the person I'm talking to, and I found it really hard to send messages. So I haven't had the contact with a lot of people like I used to. But you can be a bride and a widow. There are women out there that have a husband, which is now an ex-husband, in like a nursing home, like someone who's had an accident and is paralyzed or something, or and they've remarried, and the new husband helps take care of the former husband. Love and companionship and being with someone, we kind of roll like into one situation after another. Not all of us want that, though. There's a lot of people that want the quiet and the stillness and just to be alone. Like after those first X amount of months, and you do all the paperwork, and then it's quiet, and then you get into this groove of fixing meals for one, right? Doing laundry for one, cleaning up the house for one, and you realize there's less laundry, there's less cooking. You can eat whenever you want. You can go to the store and buy whenever you want. You have less to clean, and you can watch whatever you want on TV, listen to music, what you want, go to bed when you want, get up when you want. I'm not saying that's better, but I'm saying that's the routine I think we fall into, right? And over time, there's a lot of people who just don't want to change that up. That becomes very comfortable and very comforting, and they just want that to stay at that place. I wonder for myself, if I hadn't met George and married, from when I met him to when we married in 5 months, if I had more time alone, would I have remained alone? Like, would it have become my comfort level? And maybe, I don't know. But I've learned that being a widow and being a bride coexist. So I could be really happy about something or excited about something as much as I can be, because I don't get super excited or super happy about anything. And then you can remember something like the fact that October 10th, Sky would have had a birthday, you know, and I will get a little cupcake and I'll get a candle and I'll light it and I'll sing to him and I have pictures of multiple of his birthdays. We would go to a Mexican restaurant and he would get a chicken taco salad, and then the waitress would bring him a Mexican dessert and put a candle in it, and it was gratis, it was free, because she knew it was his birthday. And so we always celebrated his birthday by going out to eat. And then when it got too hard for him to go out, we celebrated at home. He loved my pumpkin pie, so one year I baked him a pumpkin pie, cut a piece, put a candle in it, lit it, sang to him, and gave him a birthday gift, and that was that. But so I'm both. I'm in missing. I don't really know. Sometimes we use words that are very hard hitting to the ears. Grief and mourning. Grief and mourning. And I don't know exactly what they're supposed to mean. For me, it's a 24/7 sadness that sits somewhere in my head all the time. I could be out doing something and having a decent time. I could be at a bookstore with my husband and looking through a magazine, and I'm having a decent time, but I'm in sadness. You know, there might be an article, a Buddhist article, a Zen Buddhist article, and I'll read that and I'll think about Sky. Right? So the terms grief and mourning, I'm in deep grief. I can say I go in deep sadness where tears come at night, and sometimes I get this amazing memory of him and it'll bring a smile to my face. I have them. He would text me that he's coming home from work, and then I would go to the window, the bedroom window. We were on the second floor, and I would go to the window and I'd have the screen up, and then he would pull in, and it would take him a minute to get his phone and get the keys, and he would get out of the driver's side, and then he would open the back door, the driver back door, and he would get his hoodie and he'd put it over his shoulder, and he'd get his lunchbox, and I would holler from the window, and I'd say, hey handsome, or something like that. I would holler something to him, and he would look up and he'd go, hey sugar, hi sugar, be right in. I can see him. I see him do that. I see him in his khaki pants, his steel-tipped boots, his t-shirt, either a gray or a blue or a brown, with a flannel shirt over it, unbuttoned, rolled up a little bit. I can see him plain as day. So I'm both. I'm not more one or more the other. I talk about George's brother. I ask him questions. We celebrated his brother's birthday. We celebrated or remembered, honored the day his brother passed. We talk about his brother's passions and love of life and the things that were important to him. And like we have an air fryer. I said to George when we got married, I want to get an air fryer, even though I had never had one. But I saw enough people who did use air fryers, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think we really need an air fryer." But he was so I bought an air fryer. I got my money and I bought an air fryer, and we used the heck out of this air fryer. And he said his brother had an air fryer, right? And his brother would say to him, "You really need to get an air fryer. They're just so convenient." He said, "Now I know why my brother said to me a million times, you need to get an air fryer." So we kind of were able to both talk about both people in the present without any kind of jealousy or issues. And if he was a widower when I met him, and he had lost his wife, I would be the same way that that he is with me with Sky. I would be the same way with a late wife. Now he has an ex-wife. He has a couple of them. I'm not thrilled with a couple of them for the way he was treated, and so that's a different ball game. But yeah, so I'm both a widow and a bride. And so my question to you is, well, one, do you have a birthday in October? And two, have you been in a situation where you've been a widow and a bride? And how do you handle that? Or do you know of someone who is a widow and a bride, and how are they doing? And I guess too, if there's kids involved, that changes up the whole dynamics also, right? Especially maybe teenage kids who might be against a remarriage. I don't know. I'm just throwing out different things. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on being a widow and a bride, and what do you think would be the most, the hardest part of all that? What would be the most difficult, and what would be maybe the easiest part of it, if there is such a thing? Thanks for listening.